Hello, everyone. Welcome into Simply Life. I'm Keith Casebolt. My dear friend across from me, Gary C. Johnson. Good to see you.
It's spring.
I'm so glad.
It's on its way. Ta ta ta.
I mean, Gary, when you see a little sunshine and you start to see a leaf or a little bit of greenery, it just makes you feel better, doesn't it?
Trees are getting ready to put their clothes on.
It's about time. They've been naked long enough.
Yeah, no joke. Ready to cover that skinniness up.
As far as I'm concerned, they've been naked way too long.
Today we're going to talk a little bit about success. There's a couple of questions I want to answer on arbitration.
Oh, good.
In fact, we'll answer the arbitration questions first. What's the first question, Keith, on arbitration?
A good friend of ours asked the question about 10 years ago. They had to have a procedure done on their knee, and he signed the arbitration agreement. He said, don't know why I did it. I was just signing paperwork, and after I left, after the procedure, I realized I did, but he said it was 10 years ago, and now I'm worried if I ever go back to that facility, is that arbitration agreement binding for life because I signed it 10 years ago?
No, it was only good for that one procedure that he did that time.
Okay. Now, the next question is, now my friend says, I'm worried. What happens if I'm sick or something's going on with me and I drive myself into the hospital and I'm obviously in pain or anguish and all this paperwork gets put in front of me and I sign it because I'm ill at the time and I don't have an advocate with me? Am I held and bound by that, and can I not get out of it?
The agreement will say that they have 30 days to notify the hospital that they are revoking the agreement. So you can revoke the agreement that you sign on arbitration anytime within 30 days.
And Gary, that should be fair because that's a legitimate question. If you're in pain or you're suffering, you're probably not paying a whole lot of attention to stuff like that.
You sign anything they put in front of you, anything to try to get out of that pain.
Stop the pain, get me in to see somebody.
I don't care what it is.
Yes, I 100%. Well, great. There's two questions answered that I didn't know the answer to, but I promised I would
When you
answer.
get a little stuff in you to ease the pain, revoke it.
After you feel better, yeah, that makes sense.
I was looking at a little book, The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale, and he had 6 little things about success. And I think with spring coming up, it would be a good time to talk about them. What do you think?
It's like a new season and a new time, and I think all of us like to reinvent ourselves.
And how are we doing on our 10 pounds?
I did real good through Saturday. But you may know there was a couple of ball games on Sunday, and Kentucky played, and it wasn't a good turnout. Kentucky lost, so there was some comfort food that had to be eaten in order to get over the bad loss of Kentucky. So all the goodness I did last week kind of went out the window on Sunday. But much like spring, I'm back now.
You're reinventing yourself.
Reinventing myself.
The question is, did you lose the pound in March?
No.
Okay. You now have 9 months to lose 10 pounds.
See?
Or is it 11 or 12?
Counselor, I want legal representation before I answer any more of these questions.
You're pleading the fifth.
I'm going to take the fifth on the 2 or 3. I will lose the pound in April.
Okay.
You've heard me say it.
Okay.
And maybe more.
Well, this first thing that they talk about in success,
Yes.
and the reason I asked you about the weight,
Yeah.
the 10 pounds, was set yourself a definite goal.
Now listen, that is so good. I was watching a program the other day that this teacher was talking about. A lady came up and said, "I just want money." And he said, "How much money?" And she said, "I just want money." And he said, so I reached in my pocket and I gave her a nickel and said, "There you go, you got some money." But your point is well taken. Without a decisive goal that you are setting, you're just kind of blowing around in the wind.
That's why we set 10 pounds starting in March.
By the end of the year.
By the end of the year. We have a definite goal.
I have a definite goal.
Right?
Yes, by the end of the year.
Okay.
Great
You
point.
now have 9 months left.
I've got to do 10 pounds in 9 months.
Or 11 or 12, depending on what happened in March.
Depending on what happened in March.
Yep. Okay.
Yes.
My friends, it may have happened to you too, right?
It's all right, though. Much like spring, we get to start over.
You've got to.
See, that's a good thing.
You've still got 9 months, friends, to do over.
I can't do a thing about March. I
Right.
can work on April.
So if it is now more than 10 pounds, my friends,
And it is.
number 2 is quit running yourself down.
Now, that is a very good point there. Gary, in every walk of life, aren't we sometimes our worst enemy?
Yeah, we always are.
I mean, we say things, well, this is just the way I'm.
It's worse than that. We may be our only enemy.
That's true, because the rest of them may just be,
They don't have time to fool with being our enemy.
they may be made up.
Right.
Yeah, but that stop running yourself down, I didn't realize it until you pointed it out one time, the damage we do by thinking we're not good enough, or that we shouldn't be healthy, or that we shouldn't be happy, or that we shouldn't have the success.
And number 3,
Mm-hmm.
stop thinking of all the reasons why you cannot be successful, and instead think of all the reasons why you can.
Boy, that'd be worthy of making a list, wouldn't it? I mean, to sit down and just take a pad of paper and say, here's all the reasons why I can.
And if you can't think of any, might be a problem.
You know what? If you can't, ask somebody near you. Because I listened to some young ladies talk one time, and they were all telling about what they felt were the good points of each other.
Mm-hmm.
They all seemed surprised when they heard all the good points about themselves.
What I have learned through many years of practicing law is if you really and truly want to accomplish something, put a team together.
Mm.
It is amazing what you can do with a team. And if you can't figure out something to write on that paper, get a few people together, and all of you get together and put a piece of paper down and write some stuff on it. And you would be amazed what you'll come up with.
I think you're 100% right. You'd probably be amazed at the qualities that people perceive you to have or believe you have or know that you have.
And you may very well end up going in business together, a bunch of you.
There you go. A support group.
I mean, it is spring. Anything's possible.
It is today. And today's all we've got.
We hope we'll have tomorrow.
But we got today.
You ready for number 4?
Give it to me. Number 4.
Trace your attitude back to your childhood and try to discover when you first got the idea you couldn't be successful. Because that will define how you are today.
Now, that's going to be a toughie to get over.
And if you can go back and find that,
Mm-hmm.
you might learn how to break that cycle. Because most of the time,
Well,
everybody has it in them. Everyone has the ability to be successful.
talk to me about this subject a little bit, because I've heard you for the last several years. You just come out and challenge people and you say, hey, I'm Gary from 3 Mile. And I did and achieved my goals. And as you said, you had it as tough as anybody could have it. What got you over that step?
Laziness.
Because you didn't want to go in the coal mine, right?
Well, no, I'm just kidding. Honestly, and this may sound strange, But at a fairly young age, I looked around and saw the conditions where we were living. And they weren't too good. And I sort of decided I probably wasn't going to take any advice from the people around me.
So you wanted more.
I didn't want to live that way.
You wanted a better life.
I wanted to try to find a better life. There may not have been one.
Right.
See, I didn't know. I was ignorant.
I can relate.
You understand? I mean,
listen, yeah, I was probably 6 years old.
And really and truly, did I get a better life? I don't know. I ended up being able to have more things, but did I get a better life? I'm not sure.
Quality better or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I accomplished some things.
Mm-hmm.
I put myself in a position to help other people.
Which is good.
And from that, I've had a lot of grateful feelings and gratitude. But as far as quality of life, who knows? Could be good, could be bad. Time will tell.
Let's just put it this way. You realized at an early age, wait a minute, I want to see what else is out there. I want to see what the world has to offer, as opposed to saying, I don't deserve whatever the world has to offer.
I didn't see myself as a person that couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
When I probably should have.
Yeah.
Because I've run into so many people during my career from situations such as I grew up in that couldn't see themselves as people that could do it when they could do it. I bet you money there's people listening to this program right now that could easily do it had they been able to see themselves doing it. Far better probably than I could.
Now that's the major thing, to be able to see yourself in that position, to be able to see yourself happy or living that life. I can understand. I mean, the first time I ever took a trip, I was asked, why'd you wait so long to go? And I thought, well, that's for other people. I mean, other people go on trips.
Yeah, they have money.
Yeah, they go see things. I mean, I guess it just didn't dawn on me that I could.
And in keeping with that, let's go to number 5.
All right.
Because that's what we're talking about. Change the image you have of yourself by writing out a description of the person you would like to be. That's the key. You have to see yourself as being what you want to be. If you can see it in your mind's eye, as I call it, then basically that's what you will become.
So write out a description.
And not what people have beat you down and made you think you are,
mm-hmm.
but who you really are and what you want to be. You have to see it, and you have to believe it. You have to believe in yourself. And there's so much talent that's gone to waste in eastern Kentucky and southern West Virginia. Just total waste because people have been beat down and they didn't believe, well, because I'm from here, it can't happen. It couldn't be. It's not me. I'm just little old me. Well, you aren't. You're big old you.
So now we have, quote, these reality shows where they go out and they find people who never attempted to sing or do anything, and all of a sudden you discover all this talent.
And it's full of talent. People listening to us right now have all kinds of talent, have all kinds of things they're able to do to contribute to society, skills and talents beyond our wildest imagination that really don't believe in their ability to do it. When other people would watch them do it and just be in awe of what they can do.
Yeah.
So, folks, don't let yourself be put down. Believe in yourself, and others quickly will start believing in you. They probably already do believe in you.
That's a good point also. Yeah, so there's other people, I'm sure we're all listening going, boy, somebody jumped out there and look what they did and made of themselves. But they took the step.
And number 6, the last one, which is as important as any of the first 5. Act the part of the successful person you have decided to become.
Act the part of the successful person you have decided to become.
You have to see yourself being it. You have to act the part. You have to believe in yourself. And the rest of it will flow.
That is,
and my friends will all be a great success that are listening to this program.
And again, when it comes to the success, what was the old line on it? Doing a job that you've chosen to do and doing it well. So with all of these, you're not saying that you have to go out and make $1 million to be a success. You're saying with all of these, do something that you've chosen to do and do it well. And if you use those steps, it'll help you do it.
And just remember, it doesn't matter what the job is you're doing. If you do it well and you do it with love, you will be happy,
mm-hmm.
no matter what it is.
Which means more than anything, the happiness.
And
right?
that quality of life is inside of you.
You know, that was a good time to read this with spring here.
Oh, it's even better. In case anybody just tuned in, we're going to read it again because these are important steps.
These are the steps to the new you.
To the new you
which
for
is
this
why
year.
I'm going to
So
lose
folks,
the 10
get ready.
pounds.
I'm going to read them again, but I'm going to do it quickly this time. Number 1, to be successful, set yourself a definite goal. 2, please quit running yourself down, which your chatterbox will do if you'll let it.
Oh, yes.
Stop thinking of all the reasons why you cannot be successful, which your chatterbox will do to you, and instead make the chatterbox think of all the reasons why you can. 4, trace your attitude back to your childhood and try to discover when or who first made you get the idea you couldn't be successful, because it's back there probably. Number 5, change the image in your mind's eye you have of yourself by writing out a description of the person you would like to be. And plant it right there in your mind's eye, okay? And number 6, act the part of the successful person you have decided to become, and it will happen.
You know, those are so good because I guess if you summarize all those together, you're basically saying the power of your mind can change everything.
Attitude.
So all you got to do is think it, then believe it, and then act upon it.
Get the misery out of your life.
And unfortunately, we become what we think about. Is that not true?
You are what you think, nothing more or nothing less.
So why do we spend time feeding ourselves negative thoughts as opposed to positive thoughts?
Because you can't stop the chatterbox.
The chatterbox is one little mean, you know what. And if you've just tuned in for the first time.
Just when things are going good, the chatterbox will come along and say, whoa.
Oh, yeah. The chatterbox is that little voice in your head that talks to you, that Gary refers to. And so help me, I've told this before, but still it's worth telling. When Gary would talk to me and say, you got to control that chatterbox and you got to think positive. And then one day I caught myself, I got into the car and I heard the voice say, whew, I'm glad we're alone. I've been waiting to talk to you. Don't you know all the bad things that could happen? And I thought, this cat never sleeps.
I was talking to a fellow the other day, and he looked over at me and said, Gary, I figured it out. We don't have anywhere to go but down. And I looked at him, and I said, that's your chatterbox talking, not mine.
But there we go. Just one of the steps you said. Stop putting yourself down.
Yeah.
And here's an individual saying, well, it's all downhill from here.
Yeah.
I mean, the things we do to ourselves.
That's right. And we do it, and we don't even know we're doing it. But my friends are learning. We're all learning together.
Yes, we are, on a weekly basis.
To try to figure out how to deal with being human and deal with life.
Which is all you can be.
Which is simply life, no more, no less.
That's right.
With all the frailties that come with being a human being.
which means you can actually gain weight the first month of the 10-pound challenge and still not beat yourself up because you
Which
can
was
change.
anticipated, by the way.
It was. Thank you. Very kind on that. And I did gain. But it's April, and it's spring.
That's right.
And
How could you have redemption if you didn't do it?
Well, it's going to feel better now
Yeah.
because I started off bad, and I'm going to come back and do it. And
Yeah.
when we get to the end of the road, then we'll see.
Yeah.
And I'll be proud of myself.
And you'll be so proud.
I might even get one of those little certificate things and have you sign it that says Keith
I
lost.
will give you a certificate when you get that 10 pounds off, Keith.
With a frame, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, I guarantee you that's for sure.
I'm not too worried about spending my money.
That's what I thought. Don't go to the printing press yet. All right, 6 good steps. And remember the 2 questions up front. If you just joined us, we had a regular listener and viewer that asked 2 very important questions. If you had signed an arbitration agreement 10 years ago, was it still binding? No, only to that service.
Right.
Not to the facility or other services that you would have rendered to you.
It's probably binding during that hospital stay.
Okay. And then the other question was, if you go into a hospital and you've had some trauma or you're sick and you're just signing everything to try to get the pain to go away to see somebody, is that binding? Gary has told us you got 30 days. So once you get the pain under control and you can have an advocate with you and a friend and you tell them what you think you did, you can call back and say, hey, I was under stress at the time. I don't want that in my file. Valuable information, and we thank our friend for asking those 2 questions.
I'm glad he did.
Yeah, very important. You can catch Gary's television show Tuesday nights, Simply the Law, on WYMT, your CBS affiliate. It's at 7 p.m. Tuesday nights. You can see a replay in Central Kentucky on WKYT, your CBS affiliate in Lexington and Central Kentucky. If you have questions or you need information, you can go to Gary's website. It's Gary at GaryCJohnson.com. My friend, thank you for being here, and thank you again for another good lesson today. On behalf of Gary C. Johnson, I'm Keith Casebolt. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, Gary and I look forward to seeing you again next week, right here at this very same time.